We are now going to start the inequality unit. And today we're going to start with simple inequalities. So just to kind of review, at the top there it says equations have an what sign and inequality has a what sign. An equation has an equal sign, correct? So that's how we know we have an equation, because it has that equal sign. An inequality, though, is going to have an inequality sign. These right here are the inequality signs. So we're going to review those. If you look, I have on each side, I have an X and a sign and a blank with a sign and an X. These mean the same thing. And that's what these arrows here are showing you. So when you see X you see a sign like that, that means X is less than whatever that is in the blank. I'm going to put a number here just to kind of show you. So if I had 3 here, we would say X is less than 3. Same with over here. Even though the X is on the other side, it's still read X is less than 3, or you can read that as 3 is greater than X, which we don't want to go there. We always want to start with the X. And so let me kind of review something that you've learned probably in elementary school, and just to kind of touch base with that with you as well. And that is, remember, here's your inequality sign. It doesn't matter which one you do, right? Whatever is in this area is the biggest or the greatest. So whatever's in the open part of it, maybe your elementary teacher called it an alligator. An alligator's mouth opening and eating the bigger part of it. So if you look, this alligator mouth opening toward the 3. So that's why 3 is bigger. So we say X is less than 3. Continuing to look at the rest of these. So when the sign is X in this sign here, it's going to be X is greater than. Look at the next inequality sign. The next inequality sign has something sitting right there. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that it's going to be an equal to as well. And so we're going to read this sign here, or even this one over here, as X is less than or equal to. So when you have that extra thing sitting right there with the line underneath it, that means or equal to. So a number could be less than 3, but it also could be equal to 3. Cannot be greater than, though. If we look at the next sign, the same type of thing. We have the line underneath it, but the mouth is going in the different direction. So it stands for X is greater than or equal to. And we're going to look at what these mean on the graph as well here shortly. So if we look at the next one here, there's no mouth or anything opening, but it's an equal sign with a line through it. And what does that mean? That means that X is not equal to. Those are the 5 inequality signs that you need to learn and remember. Now, those are just the signs. So we have words that are going to be associated with the different inequality signs, and that's what we have here to review. So if we look at the first one, it says Mrs. McGowan is broke. She has less than $9 in her wallet. So she has less than $9. So what does less than $9 mean? So if I had to write that into an inequality, you would say, let's just say X for the money. So we'd say X is less than 9. Let's look at this one over here. It says Mr. McGowan may or may not be broke. He has no less than $5 in his wallet. So if we look here, he has no less than. So that means he's got $5, he's got or $6 or $7, but he does not have less than $5. So how are we going to write that into an inequality? Well, no less than would be a greater than or equal to. So we would say X is greater than or equal to 5. The money in his wallet is greater than or equal to 5. The next one says Zach McGowan does not have $8. So he could have 9. He could have 7. He could have $7.99, but he does not have $8. So how are we going to write that one? Well, does not is an not equal sign. So we would say Zach's money is not equal to 8. The next one says Charlie Cat McGowan caught no more than 12 mice. So no more than 12 mice. So he may have caught 10, he may have caught 7, he may have caught 1, but he did not catch any more than 12. So we're going to say X is less than or equal to 12 because he could catch 12, he just can't catch more than 12. Page Cat McGowan stole at least 10 socks. So at least 10 socks. So she could have stolen 11. She could have stole 10, but she did not steal 9. So at least is going to stand for greater than or equal to 10. So same thing as no less than. The last one says both Charlie and Paige sleep more than 14 hours a day. More than 14. So they might sleep 15, they might sleep 16, they might sleep 14 and a half, but they don't sleep 14 or less. More than does not include 14. So we're going to say X is greater than 14. So those are words that you need to be able to identify and associate with different inequality signs. Now to graphing. So this is review with you and go over with how we graph. So since the less than or greater than sign has no equal sign, that means it is not part of the answer. So if we look at our example, when we do this, when we graph that, it's going to be an open circle. So I know in your notes it might not be that obvious, so you might want to change it so that it's obvious. The example here is X is less than 2, so we're going to do this. So less than, no equal sign. So 2 is not part of my answer, but every number less than 2 is. So that's why it's an open circle over here. If you can't tell that it's an open circle in your note sheet, make it so that you can tell. And every number less than that. So that's why we do the graph coming in that direction. Some people will allow you to do above it, whichever makes you be able to see it. So if you look at the next one, it says if X is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Yes, equal sign. It has an equal sign. So if you look, these have equal signs. We fill in, or we call that a closed circle. It's because it's part of the answer. X is greater than or equal to -3. -3 is part of my answer. It's an answer that will solve whatever inequality we're talking about. So again, if you cannot tell on your note sheet that at the -3, it is closed in. And it's everything bigger than, so it's going in this direction. I'm going to tell you just a little side note. Normally, if you look at these two graphs, normally the numbers are not above. Usually the numbers are listed underneath. For some reason, the picture made it so that it's above. So let's do some of these that you would see that in GMM. In example 1, it says choose the inequality for the graph. Let's count. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. This is a 4. So we know our answer is going to be a 4. It's an open circle, so that means it's not an equal sign. And it's numbers that are bigger than 4 going in that direction, 5 and 6. So we would say X is bigger than 4. No equal sign because it's not closed in. So which of those does it match? It matches this one. So this is our answer. Example 2. It says choose the graph of X is less than 4. So first of all, what we're going to examine, is there an equal sign? There is not. So we do not need a filled in circle. So we can eliminate this one and we can eliminate that one. If you notice, all the dots are on 4. Which of the other two are the numbers that are less than 4? So 3, 2, 1, 0. That would be which one? That's going to be this one right here. Example 3. It says write the inequality for this graph. Use X as your variable. So GMM is going to tell you what variable they need you to use. So if we look at our graph, we're going to count. So this is 0 here. And if we go, this is going to be -1, and this is a -4. And so we know we have an X, so we're going to type an X in there. And we know we have a -4, and now we need to figure out the sign. So we're going in this direction, right? So that tells me that all the numbers bigger than or equal to, because it is closed, so we can put the equal sign there. So any number that's bigger than or equal to, and that's going to be that. So x is greater than or equal to -4 is the correct answer there. And the last type of question that you're going to see in GMM is this one. It says, where are the solutions for x less than or equal to -1? So what it's asking you to do when it says where are the solutions, it's asking you to graph. So x is less than or equal to -1. Well, at this drop-down menu, so it's asking for less than or equal to -1. At this drop-down menu, notice the arrow. That is a drop-down menu. So you actually need to drop it down and determine what kind of thing you're going to do. So let's go and look though. So if we were actually doing this, and you would draw this, but not on GMM, obviously. X is less than or equal to -1. So you're going to do what? You're going to put an closed circle at -1. There's the -1. And it's less than or equal to. What numbers are less than -1? The -2 is, the -3, the -3.5, the -4.5, all of those numbers. So we would need the arrow. So in our drop-down menu, we're going to pick the arrow that looks like that. Those are the 4 types of GMM questions that you're going to get in your lesson.